everybody, my name is Cherry and welcome back to another Minecraft video, except this time it's also a house flipper video and a Sims 4 video. Because today I'm building the same house in 3 different games and I want to find out which one you guys like the best. So we're going to start with The Sims and saving Minecraft for last. Cutting in here to say this is our reference image for these 3 houses. I found it one day on the front page of Pinterest and I said I am building that. Totally forgot to put this anywhere else in the video, hence why I'm cutting here in the beginning. I originally planned to put it on the Sims build portion right at the start and totes forgot because I was yapping. But anyways, let's actually cut to the Sims build now that you have seen our reference image. So here we are jumping right into The Sims, and ooh, it has been a hot minute since we did a Sims 4 build on this channel. I do actually have another one that I'm working on right now with the Enchanted by Nature pack because I got it from my dad for Christmas. So stay tuned for that, and obviously plenty of Minecraft videos in store as well. I just have been taking kind of just a little break in general from all things YouTube, just because I feel like I kind of burnt myself out, especially because work has been crazy chaotic lately. If you've ever worked with kids, you know it gets a little draining after a while, and I kind of just needed a little bit of an internet break, hence the 2 straight weeks without uploading, which I am very sorry for, but hopefully we're gonna get back into the groove of things pretty soon here. I've got a day off coming up, so that's really exciting. Like a day off that's not a weekend, and my weekends have been very busy. I've had like 4 straight weekends of birthdays, because like I had like 2 family birthday parties, and then like it's my mom's birthday this weekend, but unfortunately we actually couldn't make it home this weekend because we were in a tornado watch where I live, and had like severe thunderstorms all night. And then up home where my mom lives, they had like a winter weather advisory, and it was like super icy and snowy. So we just decided to play it safe and stay home for the weekend. Hence why I'm actually being able to get this video done. And then I've got like a kid's birthday party next weekend. It's like birthday packed past couple of weeks, I guess. But anyways, The Sims is obviously like so much easier to throw a build together in than like house flipper is going to be, which you're gonna see here pretty soon. It's so nice in The Sims. I can just draw a little room and boom, there's walls, and drag this whole roof through and boom, it's through the whole thing. House flipper, I had to redo my roof an embarrassing amount of times, but don't worry, I did cut that all out for the most part. At least you don't have to see all of that struggle. But yeah, so I actually built the house flipper first, then The Sims, then Minecraft, and I'm not really sure why I decided to edit it in this order, but we're already here, you know? And I will honestly say, I think out of the 3 houses, The Sims one is my least favorite. I just think that, like, see, the thing with house flipper is that you can make realistic looking houses and it looks fine because it's like a realistic house building, flipping, decorating game, versus The Sims, especially The Sims 4, is much more cartoony. So I feel like, oh, if I was like building this house exclusively in The Sims, I would have thrown a chimney on, and I would have probably put some dormers on the roof, and I would not have chose this foundation paint thing. I can't think of what it's called, the trim. But this one matched the most with what I chose to do in house flipper, and I was like, oh, I can do that in Minecraft with mossy cobble, that'll be easy. So, and also doing this made me realize how much we are lacking in like good ivy in the game, and I hate debug mode. If you know me, you know I hate debug. So working with what we got, I definitely think that the foliage came out the best in house flipper, and the worst in The Sims. And I honestly, I don't know why I threw so many random trees around, but in house flipper I decided, oh, let's put every pink tree around just to kind of bring some more pink in here. I don't know why not, you know? So hence the random pink trees here in The Sims. And I did start the interior in house flipper, but we're not focusing on that today. We're just doing the exterior here. So all we've got really left is the path up to the front. I've just got like a windy path that I'll do here super quickly. Yep, there it is. And it's just in dirt, because in house flipper we only have dirt path kind of textures, so that's whatever. It's easy to do in Sims and Minecraft. So, and I actually put a wedding arch here in front of the house, because it's the only like good arch I could find that wasn't like huge or too small. So, you know, hence the fact that if you wanted to, you could just get married in this front lawn real quick. I mean, it probably wouldn't work because The Sims is buggy and it probably just wouldn't path right, but you know, if your heart ever so did desire. And then here I'm also just going through finding basically any pink flower and also some random ivy, I guess. But emphasis on any pink flower I can find, and do not pay any mind to the fact that there's no windows in the rest of the house. Your girl was only focused on the front. I was feeling really lazy when I built these. And plus, you're only seeing it from the front view really anyways, so does it really matter? You know? It's like why for so long the back of my Clovercraft house did not look very great. Yeah. And it's still not really all there. But you know, I digress. This is not Clovercraft, this is something completely different. And last but not least, we're finishing up with just some path lights, because you gotta have some path lights with a whimsical little path like this. Like, of course, it's kind of just, you know, something you gotta do. And I use a cutesy little mailbox for this because I'm like, it has to have something cute, not just like the basic one. And I guess we are also gonna throw on a mailbox, or not mailbox, some trash cans over here. And this Sims build was super quick and short because I already knew what I was building, so yay me, I did this build in 30 minutes. So, noting that there's no interior. But that's her all finished up. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. Now we're gonna jump into House Flipper. Alright, and here we are in the sandbox mode of House Flipper 2. And fun fact, this was actually the first time I've ever used the sandbox mode in House Flipper 2 ever since I've gotten it. I have been really heavily addicted to House Flipper 2 lately, which is kind of what sparked the idea for this video. I went from like touching it every once in a while to suddenly I've finished every single job and I've bought and refurbished half the houses. So, you know, I thought I might as well put the sandbox mode a little bit, because I really don't want to go back to House Flipper 1. I just prefer the mechanics of House Flipper 2, personally. I know a lot of people prefer the first one, but I'm a big fan of the second one here. And you can see I am doing like an interior layout, because I did originally plan to do the interiors of them all, but then I realized how long this video would get if I showed me doing that, so we ended up just doing the outsides, as you saw with The Sims. But yeah, I really like, despite like how inexperienced I am with building this game, I really like how this house ended up coming out. And it was a lot of trial and error, especially with the roofs, because you can't like adjust it after it's placed like The Sims 4, and not even like Minecraft, you know, you can just add some more blocks. But with this, you had to sell the whole roof and try again and just kind of hope that it came out the way you wanted, and when it didn't, you had to knock it all down and start again. It was a wee bit stressful, and also I really wanted freezes, or what are they called? I don't know, the things that go between the columns. Those pretty decorative things that go between the columns, you know? I really wanted some of those, but we don't have those in House Flipper, so I kind of just threw stuff together and made it work. That was also one of the fun parts about doing a House Flipper part of this video, is I really had to get creative with some of the elements, especially with the shutters, which you'll see later, because my heart was just set on some windows that didn't come with shutters as an option. Plus the shutters in this game are kind of hard, because it's like, if you want a double window, you have to place 2 windows, but if you want shutters, they're going to be on both windows, and then you can't have them open on both windows. Like, you can't choose just left or just right. It has to be both or none. So I ended up creating some custom shutters out of some random stuff I found. I messed around with a lot of stuff, but I ended up settling on some sauna panels, which ended up looking surprisingly really good. And I put actual stairs down instead of like the step-up platform things, and obviously making the whole house pink. And that's another fun thing about House Flipper, is you have like unlimited customization for color options. You literally can choose like anything on the color wheel, basically. I did not. I chose from like one of the color palettes, but if I wanted to, I could like basically recreate my like channel logo in House Flipper as pixel art if I really so desire, which is kind of a fun idea. That is kind of an interesting concept. We'll revisit that later. And then I ended up starting with the roof being white, and then I'm like, that actually hurts your eyes. Like, that's hard to look at. It's just too pastel, especially with like how like pastel-y the environment already kind of is, like with the lighting in this game. So I end up, you'll see soon, I change it to a bit of a like a light brown kind of color. And those are the windows I was talking about. They don't have like shutter options, they don't have you know what I was saying before. And then I went ahead, I do think it looked pretty good black, and I kind of wish I kept it black, because with the white wiring on them, it kind of just looks a little funky on the windows, but It's alright. It's a white mesh vibe. And then to give the door a little bit more of some, like, grand detailing, I just put some random stuff around. And here it is, me using the sauna panels as shutters. I think I kind of ate with this. Let me know what you think, but I feel like I had kind of a stroke of genius at this. I spent so long looking for something to use as stinking shutters like you would not believe. And I placed these little trims around the whole foundation just to go through and use these thicker white ones as well. You know. And then, of course, plant boxes, mandatory. This house is definitely nowhere near lacking in foliage and flowers. I absolutely fill these to the brim with flowers. And I totally forgot to mention, but I did show the reference image at the beginning. I totally just forgot to mention it because I was busy blabbing about life updates, you know. But here we are drawing in the path, which was kind of tricky. Believe it or not, this is not even my first try, but I decided it looks fine when you're on the ground, so no big deal. And here we are, just throwing some more detailing on the door. And the thing that kind of stinks about this is I could only go so far away from the house before those details around the door like just went invisible. So hence why the screenshots like that I took for this were like a little bit more difficult, because I had to be close enough to the whole house to see that, you know. Sorry, does that make sense? I don't know. Then I went and I put these hanging pots just on the sides because the reference image had like some sort of statues or like artwork kind of thing on the sides of the windows, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that in House Flipper. Let's do hanging plants. And here we go, spamming every pink flower I can find. Which this was low-key really fun because the plants in House Flipper are so beautiful, and there's so many ivy options, which is the reason that I went for covering the whole house in ivy. Also, fun fact, House Flipper has like the most beautiful like ambient sounds, but since this is sped up, I did have to turn those down. Otherwise, it just sounded like straight static. But there's like birds chirping, and it's like so beautiful, which you'll see like pretty shortly here when I do like the little slow pan reveal of like the finished product of the house. But bam, spamming trees, beautiful. Look at her, she's gorgeous. And now we're just doing our ivy all around, which, like I said, look at how beautiful these are. Like every time I have a job in this, like do one of the jobs in this game and they tell me to sell the ivy, I'm like, but it was so beautiful. Here I am putting it on my houses on purpose when they're saying that it's like trash and stuff and like the jobs. I don't know. Personally, I think she's gorgeous. And here we go, putting some path lights down. I went for these like kind of whimsical lantern-y ones. And then I didn't have enough room on the walls to put like an actual one, like ones on the sides of the door, so I put one above it. And again, I didn't really like the mail, either I didn't like the mailboxes or we don't have really many mailboxes, so I put a wall one here. And there she is. You can hear the little birds chirping. So beautiful. I really like how this one came out. And here we are jumping into Minecraft. And again, this one was kind of fun, but also kind of tricky because, you know, you don't really typically use Minecraft to build in the same way you do like The Sims, if that makes sense, because like Minecraft, you know, it's all block based, you know, so a lot of people go for like more whimsical or like, you know, Minecraft styled houses versus trying to make like a real life house into Minecraft, like putting that in the game, especially with the windows and the door. This was hard. So there's actually, fun fact, no way to get into this house without breaking the walls because the door on this house is not functional in Minecraft. But that's again like something that kind of even made this more fun, is the challenge of using what Minecraft offers to make the same house that I made in the other two games. And I know like this is kind of the main point of the video, but please do let me know what you guys think of all of this, like all three of these builds. If like, do you prefer enjoying like, or like do you more enjoy watching Minecraft builds, Sims builds, maybe even House Flipper builds? Would you guys like to see more House Flipper videos in general? I would not complain if people said yes to that because I love that game, but I also would understand if people didn't want to see more of that because this channel is primarily Sims and Minecraft, and if you don't want to see another game thrown in there, totally get it. House Flipper is not everybody's cup of tea. It is mine, but it's not everybody's. Satisfying little filling in of the floor there. Just a little call out to that. But But yeah, I don't know. I just think like this one came out so stinking cute for some reason. And like the little quartz trim around the roof, I don't know. I feel like I kind of ate with that for some reason. We are not going to talk about the big roof that I do pretty soon. The big roof as in like the one that's like just the sides facing you, not the front part facing you. That goes over that big square section at top there. That is not my finest work. That it does come out a little ugly, but here's something that I kind of liked. I couldn't find anything that kind of looked like a scalloped wall. You know, we don't really have anything in this game, so I used shulker boxes there. Not quite the right color, but they kind of gave like the right idea. You know, like a very expensive roof, you know, right there, but not quite the same thing as like a scalloped edge or like that like mermaid scale kind of detailing. But like the closest I could find in Minecraft that was like the right color. I don't know. I think it turned out pretty cute, but let me know what you think about that detail. And here we go, putting the roof down. This is the part that I said turned out a little ugly. Not my finest work with roofing, but also not my worst work. I hate roofing in Minecraft and The Sims. I think I just hate roofing in every game, honestly. Yeah, I think that might be what it is. But you know what? That's alright, because I think they all turned out pretty cute in the end. And now, this house looked a little odd, a little bit almost creepy, just sitting here in the middle of this empty field. But don't worry, we're about to fix that. I'm about to go crazy with leaves and trees and grass everywhere. First, though, adding our path and our little archway, mandatory. I think it's the cutest part of all of these houses is the little winding flowery path with the arch. I tried to do something funky, settled on something simple instead, because I thought it turned out a little too funky. And again, obviously this game is a little bit different than the other two because we don't have like bush objects, you know. We have leaves and short grass and tall grass and that kind of stuff. So I ended up putting my own little custom, kind of like quote custom bushes around, using like azalea leaves, flowering azalea leaves, cherry leaves. I used some of the like azalea and flowering azalea bushes, and then also I put some resin here and there. Just to kind of give some more like texture and pops of color, and also those lanterns look so beautiful with my shaders. But yeah, the cherry leaves to kind of imitate the like pink flowers that were in the other bushes, since again we don't really have flower bushes in this game except for like the rose bushes that are like the two tall flowers. Those don't really work to fill bulky spaces though. And you can see my beautiful door there with her little lever doorknob. I think it turned out really cute. High five to myself for that one. But we finished up with just some finery and we are all done. Alright guys, and this is where we're going to go ahead and end the video here in front of the Minecraft version of this house. I had a lot of fun making this, especially with trying out building in house flipper for the first time. So if you guys also enjoyed this video, let me know if you'd like to see more of it, and if there's any sort of styles of homes you'd like to see me build in any of these 3 games. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you tune in next time. Bye!